Hi, so my name is Valeria Torres Olivares, and today we'll be working on a HTML and CSS tutorial. So it's going to be an introduction. We're going to be working on our own little mini personal websites. It's going to be pretty basic, pretty introductory, but it should be fun. Through this, we're going to improve our web development skills, and eventually we're going to build upon it in further videos. So thank you for joining me today. Let's get started. You're going to look up CodePen.io. CodePen is an online IDE. It's going to allow us to work on the internet. So essentially what this means is that you can create your own account on the website, which is really amazing because you'll be able to save your work onto this account and access it from any computer or tablet or phone, which is great. CodePen's also great because you also have a bunch of different examples floating around on their discovery or explore pages. So you'll be able to find really amazing examples of people doing really cool code, such as animation, their own websites, you name it, it's here. It's really amazing because you can also see the code behind it. So I would definitely suggest creating your own account here so that you can practice and save your work. So if you're not going to create if you're not going to create an account now, but you're going to do it later, I suggest pausing the video and doing it now just because your work might be lost. I've had previous experience with students where they've created their accounts after doing the work and it disappears. So I suggest creating your account now. But once you're done with that, you can open up a new pen. Also, side note, you don't need to create an account in order to actually use this website. So we're going to create this. And I'm just going to title this website 1. And so, first of all, what is HTML? So, let me just type this out here for you. So, HTML, which is known as Hypertext Markup Language, I'll write that right there for you, describes the structure and organization of web pages. So, your web browsers, such as Safari or Chrome, whatever you use, read HTML and use it to display websites. Unlike Ruby, JavaScript, and other programming languages, markup languages such as HTML don't have any logic behind them, which means you can't program things like if A, then do B with plain HTML. So HTML is the base of every website. Essentially, you see this white part down here. This is the results that come up after you code. But this is essentially what you would see if websites were only comprised of HTML. It looks really bare bones and skeleton-like. It's not aesthetic, it's not pretty. So we're going to first learn how to create our own basic website. So we're going to start with a basic HTML structure. So I'm going to look up what an HTML structure is actually. So I'm going to go to W3 Schools, and W3 Schools is again another really amazing site and resource to use, especially if you are working on web development. It's really great because they have a lot of resources and examples, tutorials on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you name it. They have amazing examples and documentation here. So I would definitely check this out if you have any other questions or you want to add anything else to your website. So we're just going to copy it up until the doc type. We don't need that in CodePen. And we're going to paste it. So in here, what you see is these tags. These are all called HTML tags. So we have our head tag, body tag, H1 tag. Essentially, what this does is it breaks up your code into a nice, digestible way of actually modifying this further with CSS and JavaScript in order to actually personalize it, add color, animation. Again, this is just the base of your website. So we don't need this right now. Or we can just, yeah, we don't need this right now. So we're just going to get rid of that. And then in here, H1 means header 1. So if we were to change this to header 2, for example, you would notice that it gets smaller. So that's one thing. And then we're going to make a personal website. So you can put your name, you can put welcome. So I'm going to put welcome. My name is Valeria. And check out my website to learn a little more about me. And I'm just gonna get rid of that. Perfect. So as you can see, CodePen's really cool because you can see your everything that you type inside of the code boxes is gonna show up down here in the results, which is really great. Okay, let's keep going. So let's say I want to show a list of skills or some of my favorite activities. Before I go into skills, I'm going to write the activities. So in order to do that, we're going to make a list. We're going to make an unordered list. Essentially, what an unordered list is just bullet points. An ordered list, when you're coding, means that it's numbered 1, 2, 3, etc. So in order to start, we're just going to go UL, so unordered list, and then LI, which stands for lists. And I'm just going to close this out because this tag, since I don't want to forget, sometimes one forgets and then it's a disaster. So I'm going to copy this 4 times. And inside of these tags, this is where you're going to write your actual text, as we did here with the H2 tags and the paragraph. So inside of here, you already see that there's bullet points. Now I'm going to type out, what am I going to type out? Well, actually, before we type this out, we have to decide what we want to write here. So we said earlier that we wanted to do our activities. So I'm going to do H3, which is a smaller heading. I'm going to put my favorite things to activities. And you can see it pop up down here. And then in here, I'm going to write out coding, of course. And then we're going to go teaching. I'm going to write out dancing. And then listening to music. Okay, now you can see that that's down here in bullet point format, which is really great. Now we should, in order to make this look a little bit better, let's format this, shall we? So in order to actually format this, we're going to have to use CSS. So we're going to write body. This is where you get the significance of the tags. So body, background, color, and I want a nice color. I don't want to just pick a random color like pink. You can if you want, but I personally do not want that. So we're going to go into it. It's not changing. It'll change at some point. I'm not worried. So now we're going to go here to look up RGB color picker. I'm going to use the W3 Schools color picker just because I've used it before and I trust it. That's a bright color. And I'm just going to choose a color that I like. And I'm going to copy the hexadecimal code and hexadecimal number, and I'm just going to paste it into here. Okay, so now that we're here, while the background looks nicer, I still want it to look a little better. So I'm going to put border 5 px dashed, and black is fine, but I think I want a little different color. So I'm going to pick a darker purple shade. I think I'm going to pick this one. And that should give me that color. Now I'm going to add some padding since it's still looking a little rough around the edges. And there we go. That looks a little bit better now. So I think one, I should capitalize this, so I'm gonna change this to my name. And once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go ahead and center the heading and the little byline right there. And then I'm going to create a div tag. But I'm going to call it div class header. That'll be in quotation marks. And then I'm just going to close it out down here with a div tag. So now we're going to go into here to center the header. So I'm going to call it header. Because it has a name, you have a period before it when you call it. So I'm going to write text dash align and then center because I want it to be centered. So now I want to add photos, but because I don't want it to just keep adding it lower and lower. I want it to be side by side nicely on this web page. So I'm going to look up how to align images in HTML. So the reason why I'm doing this and not just giving you the code is because I want you guys to understand how important it is to just also learn how to answer your own questions. So we're going to go again back to W3 Schools, and here it shows us exactly how to do it. So we're going to copy this example, and then I'm going to tell you what it means. So we're going to copy this underneath inside of our body tags, underneath everything else. So here you can see where the images would be, and now that we're done with that, I'm going to name this coding. I'm going to name it what each of my activities are. So I'm going to name this coding. I'm going to name this teaching. This will be dancing. Again, I'm just editing what's in the image aspect of it, the image tag. And because I have 4 activities, I'm going to copy this last one, paste it in, and then change this to music, just to shorten that. Now that we're here, we're going to look up images. So I'm going to look up coding, images. Let's get this one, copy image address. Select here what it says image underscore snow.jpg. We're going to delete that and paste that in. Okay, perfect. Now I like teaching, so I'm just going to look up teaching. And you can do this for all of your images. You can fast forward until I'm done with this, but I'm just going to showcase this. So this looks fun. Actually, I'm just going to select this image up here, copy image address, then it's a really large URL and it's a blurry photo, so I'm just going to delete that. There's pretty much trial and error here. But let's see this one. Okay, I'm just going to go into the website, copy the image address, copy image address, and then paste it in. And this is a better photo. Now we want to look up a picture of dancing. And I'm just going to select anything here. So this one's a nice photo. So I'm dancing with the stars. And again, do the exact same thing we did with the other 2. This is kind of tedious, but it's almost done. And now listening to music, images. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so now I have all our pictures, but they're all over the place, right? They don't look very nice. So now we're going to go back to how the W3 Schools website, and there's a second step to add CSS. So we're going to copy that, go to our CSS, enter, and paste it. And now that we've pasted that in, it's a semi-aligned. It looks kind of grid-like, but because there's so many, here above it says suggest to use 25% in order for all of our images to show. So we're going to do that. So 25%, but only 3 pictures show. So I'm going to go down to 20%. Great. Maybe it can handle 23. Perfect. So I'm going to keep it at 24%. So now you can see a bunch of pictures. And if you wanted to actually write the favorite activities, the names under that, we can do that too. So we're going to go here. We're going to copy coding, and underneath each image, we're going to hit enter, and we're going to write H3 since we want it to say small. I'm going to make the tag and then I'm going to copy coding. So down here, you should actually see coding. So that's great. I actually want to put it on top. I think it might look a little bit better. Perfect. So now that we're done with that, we're going to do the same thing for the rest. So I'm just going to copy this here, this line, and go and do the same thing for the rest. And like so. So obviously they're not all coding, so I'm just going to copy teaching, put it into the second one where it says teaching. This is dancing. This will be dancing. And then this will be listening to music. Perfect. So because we don't need this list anymore, really, we can just get rid of it, even though we worked hard on it. If you want to keep it, you can keep it. But I personally don't think it's necessary, so I'm just going to delete it from my HTML. So now that they're all aligned, I want to change this into the center. So in order to do that, I'm just going to copy this here and paste it inside of my header class, inside of my div tag called header, because it was already centering all of the text. So this was just a little bit of an easier way of doing that. Great, and that concludes today's tutorial. This is what your website should look like. It's a pretty basic introductory website, but it should give you the tools in order to actually go forward and try out new things, such as adding videos, sound, different colors, different sections, maybe a navigation bar. But for today, this is going to be all. Thank you for staying and watching this video. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us, whether that be through the comment section or through our website, codeequal.com. Please check it out. Bye.